Hello then, and welcome to another episode of Who Are Concord Rangers. And similar to Tony Stokes, because of recording issues on Zoom, I'm delighted to be joined again by Gary Ogilvie. Gary, how are we?
Good, thanks. It's good to be back again.
Right, we'll jump straight in because I don't want to take too much of your time up again. But what would you say is kind of the most memorable game that you played in, or was whilst you were at Concord Rangers?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot. We won a lot at Concord in my time there. We had some great games, great memories. I think the biggest one for me was the Essex Senior League when we won it at Barkingside. I think that was the biggest one. I know John Easterford mentioned that before on his interview. I remember lying in the goal when the ball bounced. I think it was a throw in and it bounced over my head. I was at the back post. I tried to clear it. And I remember lying in the goal thinking, that's it, that's over, that's us. And then the goal got disallowed. It went straight in from a throw in. And then we went down the other end and scored 30 seconds later with Hilsey. So, yeah, that was a fantastic game. I think probably the start of what you've seen from Concord in the last few years. And then probably one more would be the Billericay. I think we won 5-0. I think the Essex Senior Cup final. I think that was my last game for the club. And yeah, it was just a good way to end a fantastic time at Concord.
Everyone I've interviewed has gone on about that notorious throw-in in that game against Barkingside, so it's just good for you to mention it as well. Moving on then, who would you say was kind of the most influential, most important person for you whilst at your time at the club?
It's hard to look past the Cowleys. I think both Danny and Nicky, for me, they were mentors and role models for me to look up to. I've taken a lot of what they did at Concord into my coaching career now. So I look back and fondly with memories from those two. I was there when they started, and then I played in that Billericay game when it was their last game at the time at Concord. So it's hard to look past those two, but there's a lot of people when you look back and you go over those memories that helped you out along the way. I was quite a young player coming into the club, and people like Scopesy, who obviously is now the manager, but he used to pick me up, take me to training and stuff like that. And I played with him. I was a left back. He played centre back for the first few games, and then when he went into managing, I played as a left midfielder and had Danny Glozier behind me. So I think those two probably in particular helped me out a lot on the field, off the field, sort of put their arm around me, showed me the ropes, if you like. And yeah, it was a fantastic experience because of those people that helped you out.
You mentioned the Cowleys there. Obviously, everyone kind of links Concord and the Cowleys together. They are kind of the reason we're, I suppose, in so many people's minds. Is when you're talking about your own coaching career, do you try and take what you learned from the Cowley brothers and stuff like that into your own coaching career?
For sure, yeah. Some of the things that they used to do even back then was ahead of the years, even in the Essex Senior League and the Ryman Leagues. They were doing things that you hadn't seen before. So I for sure take a lot from them. I look back and I think how much hard work they put in, how much effort and intensity and energy into what they did. And I take a lot from that. Obviously, I follow them and I follow their careers and I try and watch stuff, the videos that come out and things like that. And still keep in contact every now and again with Nicky, just shoot a message every now and again. So, yeah, for sure, they've been a big influence, a big part of why I love football so much and what my view of football is.
You mentioned Scopesy as well, and I know Scopesy as the manager, not as a player at all, but from what I know as a manager, he's maybe the most modest and relaxed manager I think I've ever met in football. And that when I try and talk to him about this game on Monday afternoon now, that try and big it up to him, he's just very much, it's just any game, we're just treating like any game. How big a moment do you think for him is it that he's going to be able to lead out Concord or Wembley like the likes of Kenny Dalglish, Alex Ferguson, those kind of iconic managers have done before him?
Yeah, for sure. He was a huge part of. Again, we speak a lot about the Cowleys just because of what they've gone on to do, but he was a massive part of that change, that turnaround when they Cowleys come in. He was in charge in that Essex Senior League season. The Concord DNA is a big part of him and of why Concord is so successful. He's been around the club. I know he stepped away for a couple of years, but he was still there as a fan. He was still around the team and around the club. So he's massively integral to what Concord have achieved. And yeah, it's going to be huge for him. I'm really pleased and really happy to see him do so well as a manager now, because like I said, he's part of that Concord DNA, and he's one of the reasons why Concord have been so successful as well. So it'd be huge for him. And
did you think when he was playing it, he'd go on to have such a successful management career?
I mean, he was always a top football guy. He was always he loved football. He knew a lot about football. He had so much knowledge. Like I said, he taught me a lot. Clipping channels, putting my elbows up in headers, little things like that. He taught me the ropes, showed me the ropes, and he's always a big football guy. And yeah, he's just a massive part of what they've achieved, and it's so good for him.
Perfect. Then moving on, and we'll move away from kind of your playing career and stuff like that. But if you were gonna, come up with kind of a definition for Concord Rangers Football Club and what the club stands for, what would it be and why?
So I've obviously watched a couple of the boys doing the interviews and those questions. I think I've thought about it, and for me, the easiest way to sum up Concord is just it's a special place, a special club. It's simple as that, really. I think it's so unique. It's so unlike any other club in non-league, and a big part of the reason is the people involved. So I would just say Concord Rangers is a special club.
What makes it so unique and so different to all the other clubs you've played for? I think you played in America and New Zealand as well. And what makes it so different to those clubs there as well as the other clubs in England you played for?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been lucky to play at some really, really good clubs, really good organisations. But like I said, Concord's just special. There's something about it. And I think of all the places I've been, it's always the people that make the club. It's always the people that make the team and the club and the environment, and everybody just wants to be a part of it. You go in there and you have to buy in. If you don't buy into the Concord way, then you don't fit in, and it's not going to work for you. So I think there's such a strong identity within the club and the people there. And if you do fit in, then you feel like you're at home. You feel like you're in a family. And I think that's what makes it so special.
Perfect. Then, and finally, the one that most people have struggled with is, if you were going to use 3 words to describe Concord Rangers Football Club, what would they be and why?
Yeah, probably some of the words I've already used, but for me, winning, being a winners is a massive factor. There's so many trophies at the club in the last 10, 15 years. We all go in there with the idea that we want to win, and that's why people are so attracted to Concord, and they have won a lot of stuff. So that mentality just to win is huge. I'd say togetherness. I think that it's a small kind of underdog. It was always, now it's not so much, but it was always a kind of an underdog feeling within the team, within the club, and everyone just stuck together. And like I said, there was nobody that, even when the Cowleys were there, you knew that they were going to go on to do massive things. Some of the players that we had were probably a lot better than the level and the team that we had at the time, but there was no big time Charlies. Everyone bought into what we wanted to achieve, and that togetherness probably is the second word. And then probably the third word is just the hunger. I think that everyone goes there. There's loads of different reasons why people play football, and some of them are not good reasons, but at Concord, everyone's just hungry for success. Everyone's hungry to win. Everyone's hungry to be a part of that group and that club. So those are probably my
hopefully, I think, yeah, those are 3 words that hopefully the players will take into Monday afternoon. But we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for dealing with the time difference as well, because obviously I know you're in America and having to deal with doing this again. I apologise. And hopefully Zoom has recorded it properly this time. Otherwise, you'll be getting another WhatsApp from me in about 5 minutes' time saying, can you log back in? But yeah, thank you very much. And hopefully, next time you're back over in the UK and visiting the Aspect and Thames Road, there'll be a nice FA trophy in Jane's office for you to come and have a look at.
Fingers crossed. Good luck to the boys. Good luck to Scopes. Cheers.